In the heart of Africa's Great Rift Valley, a landscape carved by tectonic forces over millions of years, an ancient giant has been resting. For generations, it has been a silent sentinel, a fixture on the horizon, its immense power confined deep within the Earth's crust. It had slept for centuries, woven into the myths and daily life of the communities at its base. This is Mount Nyiragongo, one of the most active and dangerous volcanoes on the continent. A colossal force of nature, towering over millions in the bustling city of Goma and the surrounding villages. Its crater holds one of the world's largest and most persistent lava lakes, a permanent window into the planet's molten core. But for the people living in its shadow, it was a constant, a landmark, a part of the sky itself. Life unfolded at a familiar pace, governed by the seasons, not by the geology beneath their feet. The rhythms of daily existence provided a fragile sense of security. The volcano was always there, but it was a distant threat, a story told to children rather than an imminent danger. Warnings from scientists about seismic activity and rising magma levels were noted. But on the ground, the immediate needs of family and work took precedence. The calm was deceptive, a thin veil over a system under immense and growing pressure. But today, that fragile peace was irrevocably shattered. The silence was broken not by a whisper, but by a roar that echoed from the very center of the earth. Without warning, one of Africa's largest volcanoes erupted. New fissures tore open on its flanks, bypassing the main crater and sending rivers of fast-moving lava directly toward populated areas. This wasn't a distant spectacle confined to a mountain peak, it was a direct assault on the communities below. The eruption unleashed a power the modern world has rarely witnessed up close, triggering a humanitarian crisis in a matter of minutes. The sleeping giant was awake, and its fury was just beginning. The moment scientists had feared and residents had prayed would never come, arrived with unimaginable force. Without any further warning, the ground gave way to a power that defies human comprehension. The eruption was not a gradual build, but an instantaneous, apocalyptic detonation. A deafening roar, heard hundreds of kilometers away, was the first signal of the cataclysm. It was followed immediately by a concussive shockwave, a ripple of pure energy that flattened trees and shattered windows in villages miles from the summit. Simultaneously, a column of superheated ash, rock, and gas punched more than 15 kilometers into the stratosphere, a roiling, dark tower that blotted out the sun in seconds. For those on the ground, day turned to an eerie, suffocating twilight, lit only by the terrifying glow from the volcano's peak. This was not just an eruption, it was the violent birth of a new, terrifying landscape and the beginning of a regional crisis. Located in the heart of Africa's Great Rift Valley, a region of immense geological activity, this volcano has a history of unleashing some of the fastest-moving lava flows on the planet. As the initial explosive phase subsided, the true nature of this threat began to reveal itself. New fissures, glowing with incandescent rage, tore open on the volcano's flanks, releasing rivers of molten rock. This is not the slow, creeping lava often seen in places like Hawaii. This is a low-viscosity, basaltic lava, superheated to over 1,000 degrees Celsius. It moves with the speed of a person running, sometimes faster, pouring down the steep slopes and fanning out across the populated plains below. Evacuation orders were issued, but the lava flows spread faster than any official alert could manage, swallowing everything in their path. Roads, the primary escape routes, were severed in minutes. Power grids failed as transmission lines melted, plunging entire districts into darkness, a darkness punctuated only by the advancing fire. Water mains, buried just feet below the surface, were vaporized, cutting off the most critical resource for those left behind. The very infrastructure of modern life was being erased from the map, hour by hour. But the immediate destruction from the lava is only the beginning of this cascading disaster. While the molten rock claims the land, an even more insidious threat is traveling on the wind. The truly alarming fallout, carried within the vast plume of ash and gas, is only just starting to spread across the region and, potentially, the globe. In the hours and days following the initial eruption, the immediate danger of lava and pyroclastic flows gives way to a more insidious and far-reaching threat. A colossal column of volcanic ash, a pulverized cocktail of rock, minerals, and glass, has been injected tens of thousands of feet into the atmosphere. This is not like ordinary smoke. It is a dense, abrasive particulate cloud, and its first and most dramatic victim is the global network of modern aviation. Across the continent and beyond, air traffic has been brought to a standstill. The ash cloud is immense, a silent, drifting menace to any aircraft that dares to enter it. The fine, sharp particles pose a catastrophic risk. They can sandblast cockpit windows, block critical sensors, and, most dangerously, melt in the extreme heat of jet engines, forming a glassy coating on turbine blades that can cause a complete engine flameout. The decision for aviation authorities is not a choice, but a necessity. The skies must be cleared. The economic paralysis is immediate. Billions of dollars are lost each day as passenger travel halts, and vital air cargo, including medical supplies and perishable goods, is stranded. But as this visible crisis unfolds in the skies, a far more subtle and potentially more dangerous threat is gathering force, hidden within the very same plume. The real threat is in the invisible gases. The eruption has unleashed a staggering quantity of sulfur dioxide, or SO2, a toxic gas that is now being tracked by satellites as it spreads across the globe. Unlike the heavier ash particles which fall back to Earth relatively quickly, these massive sulfur dioxide plumes can linger in the stratosphere for months, even years. When SO2 mixes with water vapor in the atmosphere, it creates sulfuric acid, the main component of acid rain. This toxic precipitation is now a grave concern for regions downwind of the eruption. It threatens to poison agricultural land, damaging or destroying crops and rendering soil infertile for future seasons. The fallout contaminates vital water sources, poisoning rivers, lakes, and reservoirs that millions of people and animals depend on. The delicate balance of entire ecosystems is at risk, with the potential for widespread die-offs in aquatic life. And the impact doesn't stop at ground level. When injected this high into the stratosphere, sulfur dioxide acts like a planetary sunshade. The gas converts into sulfate aerosols that reflect solar radiation back into space, a phenomenon known as global dimming. While it may sound beneficial, this process can trigger noticeable, albeit temporary, shifts in global climate patterns. Scientists look to historical precedents like the 1991 eruption of Mount Pinatubo, which cooled the planet by 0.5 degrees Celsius for over a year. Such a shift, even if short-lived, can disrupt weather systems, alter monsoon seasons, and affect agriculture thousands of miles away from the volcano itself. The fallout from this single event is no longer a local disaster. It is a global phenomenon, a stark reminder of our planet's interconnected and volatile power. The humanitarian crisis is immediate. The environmental fallout is global. This huge African eruption is a stark reminder of the planet's immense power, a power that now has the world holding its breath. Please subscribe to our channel, History Documentary Hub, for more insightful videos and intriguing content.